Okay, everyone, welcome back. I hope that by now, before you listen to segment 2, you have finished your test and you have taken pictures of your answers and sent those to me through email, okay? Because at this time, we are going to go over the answers, and I hope that I will clear up any questions you might have. However, after we go over these answers and you find that you are still confused or you need some more help, please send me an email with any questions that you might have, okay? So let's talk about the listening part first. I hope that according to the script that I read for you, you were able to catch the answers. So let's start at the top with the 4 multiple choice questions. Number 1, what is their relationship? The 2 women. Okay? Your answer is A. They are interviewer and applicant. Or I could say interviewer and interviewee. Number 2, what does Janice talk about? Okay, and who is Janice? Is she the interviewer or is she the applicant? She's the applicant, right? So she talked about B, her education. So, number 3, where are they during this conversation? Are they at home, at the store, or in the office? The logical answer is C. They are in an office. And finally, number 4, what is the outcome of this interview? Does Janice get the job or no job is available? Or C, Ms. Rivera will contact her? And the answer is C. Ms. Rivera is the interviewer, so she's the one asking questions. Okay, now let's see how did you do with catching specific details. So part 2, I hope that you listened again to catch this information. So number 1, what is the job that Janice is applying for? Okay, what's your answer? A teacher's assistant. Teacher's assistant. Number 2, what's her degree? She mentioned she has a bachelor's degree in her home country, right? And that is education. Education. Number 3, how many years has she been in this country? And she said, which one, since or for? For 2 years. 2 years so far. Okay, and number 4, what is her current occupation? She is still in school, right? So she is a student. Number 5, what are 3 strengths that Janice mentions? What does she say to Ms. Rivera? She says that I am reliable. This is vocab, right? She said she's on time, usually on time. And finally, she gets along with people. Vocab word, gets along. Okay, so we also had a challenge here to recognize some vocabulary in the listening part. I hope you could catch those words. Okay, the last question. One strength that Ms. Rivera mentions. Okay, so even Janice did not mention this when she talked about her own strengths, but Ms. Rivera noticed that she can speak 2 languages, Spanish and English. Okay, how did you do on the listening part? I hope you got 100% so far. Okay, so let's go to the grammar part B below. So remember, we had to complete the sentences and we need to use the present perfect continuous verb tense. So I'm going to read it. I will pause. You fill in the blank. How long they for a degree? How long have they been studying? They, so we need to use have. It's plural. Okay, and B, we have 2017. So we have a specific year since 2017. Number 2, A, we have a question and then you after the blank. So have you been living? Drop the E, add ing. How long have you been living in this country? Or sorry, not how long. Have you been living in this country for a long time? And B, no, I haven't or have not. 3, how long, okay, Josephina is after the blank, so she or he, it's a she. How long has Josephina been working at her job? Okay, B answer. We have 2 years. So what do I need? For 2 years. F-O-R, for 2 years. And 4, Ken. We have Ken. So he. Has Ken been practicing his English? Drop the E, add ing. Yes, he has. Okay, number 5, how long, we have you after the blank, have you been waiting? How long have you been waiting? Okay, B, a few minutes, we have a time period, so for a few minutes. Good. Okay, I hope you did okay on the grammar part B. So let's continue on to the second page of the test. And let's check this part. Let's see, how did you do? So complete the sentences with could or should. So as I mentioned, I didn't tell you exactly, but as a review, could is a little bit softer, should is a little bit stronger. So depending on the situation, we will choose the best one. Okay, 1, it's difficult to get to work on time. The bus is not reliable. What should I do? Here's a clue. I have should in the previous question. So I will answer using the same modal. Maybe you should think about buying a used car. Should. Okay, number 2, we're afraid of going into debt. What do you suggest we do? Okay, suggest implies a little bit softer advice. So you and your husband could set up a monthly budget. Okay, could for number 2. 3, I need a credit card. Can you give me any advice? Okay, now relating to money, the topic feels a little bit more serious. B, you, what do you think? Should look for a credit card with low interest rates. All right. Now, I think, yeah, we could say could, but relating to credit and money, I think this is a serious topic. So probably the listener might want to give stronger advice. So that's why we choose should. Number 4, can you suggest a good online company? Okay, the answer, we have suggest, suggestion, a little bit softer. You could try talking to the computer teacher. She knows a lot about getting online. And the last one here, my son wants to go to college, but we can't afford it. Do you have any advice? B, you and your son should apply for a loan. Okay. So the only difficulty with this exercise is thinking about the level of seriousness in the situation. And is the person asking for only a suggestion or asking for more serious advice? So I hope that guided you a little bit to choose the correct one. So let's go to complete the sentences. This part was about phrasal verbs, and it's similar to our previous test. Number 1, he's filling out an application. So in the middle, we have the application. So we are separating the phrasal verb. He's filling the application out. Number 2, she's putting them away. So them is the pots. We have the object at the end. So we're going to keep the phrasal verb together. She's putting away the pots. Okay, number 3. He's turning up the volume. We have it in the middle. He's turning it up. Turning it up. 4. She's cleaning the kitchen up. So, kitchen is at the end, which is the object. Let's keep the phrasal verb together. She's cleaning up the kitchen. Number 5, he's calling his wife back. So we have his wife at the end. So we're going to keep the phrasal verb together. He's calling back his wife. Easy, right? You did well on the first part, or the first exam we had, so I'm sure that you did well on this part as well. Okay, now the reading part, you have likely read this several times already, and I'm going to read it for you one time so that you can just listen a little bit to my pronunciation. And hopefully, though, you've already sent me your answers, but then we'll go over them together. Okay? Sandra Jones has been working as a clerk at a supermarket for 2 years. She doesn't like working the night shift, and she wants to work with more people. She has been looking for a new job for 3 weeks. She has called everyone she knows to tell them about her job search. And she has done a lot of research online. She also went to a job fair, at a community college and filled out several applications. Yesterday, she had an interview with Mr. Leong, the personnel manager at the Best Haircuts. There is an opening for a full-time position as a receptionist. Mr. Leong asked her questions about her past work experience, her current job, and her strengths. She answered his questions with confidence because she knows that she is a reliable and responsible worker. Here we have conjunction and, reliable and responsible. So we know that these are synonyms. After the interview, Mr. Leong showed her around the hair salon. He also introduced her to some of the employees. Finally, he promised to call her back next week. Before she left, Sandra gave him a big smile and a firm handshake. Sandra really wants the job. She is also a good person for the job because she gets along with everybody. Gets along, vocab word, right? So what are your answers? How about I read the statement, you shout your answer, and then I will give the answer as well. Sandra has been working as a receptionist. No. She has been working where? As a clerk at a supermarket for 2 years. Number 2, she has been looking for a new position for 2 weeks. What's the answer? No. How long? 3 weeks. Okay. The answer is in the third line. Number 3, Sandra doesn't like to work at night. The answer is yes. Okay, so yes meaning that's true. Number 4, Mr. Leong asked Sandra about her strengths. The answer is yes. Okay. Easy part, right? I hope that you did well. And I hope that you noticed the vocabulary from Unit 8 about work in the paragraphs. We saw quite a few words there. Okay, let's continue now to our last page on the exam. Starting with section B at the top, combine the sentences. Okay, you have many chores you need to prioritize. So the sentence is beginning with when, and we see the comma in the middle. So, when you have many chores, comma, you need to prioritize. So far, so good. Number 2, your projects are due on Monday. Don't procrastinate over the weekend. Okay, answer. This time, we're going to switch it. Don't procrastinate over the weekend when your projects are due on Monday. Okay, and we just think about what's the logical order here. Number 3, you're talking to your children. Don't be impatient. So when you're talking to your children, comma, don't be impatient. Number 4, you have a deadline. Plan your tasks. Tasks meaning small jobs, right? So when you have a deadline, comma, plan your tasks. Maybe you should make a to-do list. And the last one, don't turn on the television. You need to focus. Okay? Don't turn on the television when you need to focus. Okay? Now, if we change that to when you need to focus, comma, don't turn on the television. But here, when is in the middle. So the first answer I gave you is the best one. Okay, in the last part, grammar C, we have Lola's schedule. And then you need to write sentences using before and after. So 3:30, she goes to the supermarket. 4:10, she meets the children. 4:30, she starts preparing. 5:15, she eats dinner. 6 o'clock, she cleans the kitchen. And 6:30, she leaves for evening class. So I used the present verb tense, right? So now we know which one we need to use for the answers. So number 1, go to the supermarket and meet the children. So the answer, after Lola goes to the supermarket, comma, she meets the children. Okay. So what was first action? What was the second one? First one, she went to the supermarket, and second, she meets the children. Number 2, before she, what do you think, starts preparing dinner, comma, she meets the children. Okay, we have before this time. Okay, so remember that before indicates, I don't want to confuse you. So before I go to bed, I brush my teeth. So before indicates the second activity, which is a little bit confusing, right? So the third one, after she meets the children, she starts preparing dinner. Okay, so the first activity, she meets the children, and then second, she starts preparing dinner. So we have after. Number 4, after is in the middle. So let's think about what's the second one. What's the first activity? Okay, so she cleans the kitchen after she eats dinner. So after is the first, and the second is cleans the kitchen. Okay, the last question here, we have clean the kitchen, leave for class. And before is in the middle. So the answer, she cleans the kitchen before she leaves for class. First activity, cleans the kitchen. Second activity, leaves for class. Okay. All right. How did you do with before and after and when clauses? I hope that you did okay. And I hope that going over these answers was helpful for you. I hope that you feel good about your test result. So I look forward to seeing your test results also, grading them, and giving them back to you. Okay, so at this time, why don't you take a short break, rest your brain for a few minutes, and then come back for our last segment today, segment 3. All right, see you soon.